Hi Aquarius, welcome to the channel if you are new, and if you're returning, thank you so much. It's Romy here. This is your June monthly tarot card reading. So if you have Aquarius sun, rising or moon, it is a general reading, but it might resonate for you. If you're enjoying my work and you're not already subscribed, please make sure that you do. And go ahead and drop me a like and a comment, be much appreciated. If you want to join me for the extended version of the reading, you can find the link for that in the description box underneath the video, or head over to my website direct, which is romywyser.com. Looking forward to seeing what June has in store, Aquarius, so let's get started. So the energy of June is going to be really interesting, Aquarius. We already have 4 planets retrograde: Saturn in your sign, Pluto, Jupiter and Venus. And then it's going to be joined by Mercury retrograde on June 18th and Neptune on the 23rd in Pisces. We also have 2 eclipses taking place: a partial lunar eclipse on June 5th in the sign of Sagittarius in your 11th house. And we also have a solar eclipse, which is followed by solstice on the 21st in the sign of Cancer. So huge shifts and changes taking place, and a time for a deep, deep soul review. Now in Gemini energy, a fellow air sign, Aquarius, you are able to adapt a little bit more to this energy than most. What we have is this in your 5th house, particularly for Aquarius rising. So that need for creative self-expression, helping you to really figure out what you desire, what you feel passionate about, and how you now want to merge the more playful, recreational aspects of your life with the work that needs to get done. You know, perhaps you have found during this lockdown time that you've had a little bit more time on your hands, and it's given you the opportunity to really explore some things, you know, maybe some new practices, some new hobbies, you know, returning to things that really lit you up, or indeed the discovery of new things. But as we come into June and there's these powerful seismic shifts happening, and we're trying to sort of move back into what feels like some sense of normality with life again, I do see you feeling kind of triggered in some regards, Aquarius, as to, okay, how do I make this work now? How am I meant to find that balance again? Because actually I've had a taste of something that felt quite good to me, or actually I've realized where I've been playing really small in my life, or I'm wanting now to step up and somehow look to strategize, look to make those plans about how I need things to start shifting as we look ahead to the future. So we have this 3 of Wands coming out as your opening card for the reading of June, which is beautiful energy to work with, Aquarius, right? This is denoting the plans and the ideas that you have. It's looking out towards the horizon. What I love about the energy of this is that, you know, he stood atop this mountain, this platform, giving you a very clear indication of what's to come, okay? So you're getting a bit of a heads up, so to speak. But it's also showing you absolutely how you can navigate through. The water is very still here. There are some clouds in the distance, so it does suggest that there might be a couple of moments that we're going to have to navigate, particularly with this eclipse energy and retrograde inevitably bringing things back up to be dealt with again. So yes, there's some stuff that we have to face. However, we have you standing assertively, and there's this sense of belief and courage and conviction that I have you bringing to the table. That's going to be really important. And I think that as we work in Gemini energy for that first part of the month, Aquarius, it is really important that you think about your self-expression, that you think about, you know, where you feel most at home, the type of people that you resonate with, the things that you need to have in your life that give you pleasure, that make you feel like life's worth living, that are intrinsically important to give you that sort of grounded quality, so that then when you are coming back into having to deal with the conflict, the contrast of other aspects of your life, you're almost just more able to cope with it, because your energy is balanced, and you just have a little bit more of a adaptable approach is what I want to say. You know, Gemini's season is mutable air energy. We're working with Mercury now. Mercury is moving retrograde June 18th in the sign of Cancer, okay, which is very emotional way to work with that particular transit, and it's in your 6th house, right? So there is this real self-reflection around how you're taking care of yourself, you know, what's happening beneath the surface, that body-mind connection. It can also be a little bit of a tough placement for you getting overly critical or harsh with yourself. So I just want to kind of bring out a bit of a note on that for you this month, Aquarius, because what I see is that if you are going to come up against some challenge, some competition, if there's maybe some petty quarrels or, you know, something that feels, you know, a little bit bigger for you going on in your world through this month, try not to internalize and absorb and take on too much of that energy and, you know, use it as a reason to be harsher on the self. You know, that's not what this season is about for you. That's why I think the air energy of Gemini is really wanting you to embody, you know, that 3 of Wands where you're standing strong. And actually when we look at this, you're kind of looking over towards all of this drama and chaos unfolding. So for some of you this month, Aquarius, you may well be not necessarily involved directly, but absolutely on the periphery of something that's about to explode or something that's getting really challenging. You also may be looking at this as the challenge that you have to overcome this month, whether that's on a very personal level or, you know, whether you're looking at it from the more physical experiences that you're having to deal with right now, either professionally, financially, or indeed in terms of a relationship. You know, with Venus retrograde and Mercury going retrograde, you can bet that you are going to be dealing with some connections from the past or having to revisit situations with current relationships to figure out a way forward. But here we've got 3 of Coins energy. I really love this for you actually, because this is about collaboration and it's about coming together and finding meaningful solutions and a way forward. And what we have is actually the following this challenge. It's almost in some ways is kind of like drawing people together to want to work somehow to be able to fix it. Now, on June 5th with this Sagittarius lunar eclipse, there are some harsh aspects to it. You know, Venus is squaring to Mars and the moon is squaring to Mars as well. But it's in your 11th house of groups, of those platonic friendships, of how you want to show up. But it's also where you're able to identify new trends. It's where you're thinking about your own hopes and wishes and looking toward the future. And you're the ruler of this 11th house, Aquarius. So there's something about the kind of the contrast and what gets illuminated around that full moon that actually I think you can really work with. So you might find that you're the one in the position that says, actually, I know a way out of this, okay? So if you're not directly at the center of that conflict, you may well be the one who's stepping in to try to kind of smooth the waters over or to try and bring people back together, yeah? If that is the case, just make sure again that you're not absorbing and taking on too much of everyone else's energy. This is where I need you to remain throughout this month of June. It's in that elevated position of being able to get a clear view of what's coming so that you can make a decision of where you're best served to be able to help not only other people but also yourself at this moment in time, right? So if you're looking at what's going on with regards to my relationships, I do have more open communication coming in with that 3 of Wands. There's definitely messages traveling towards you. It may leave you feeling a little conflicted, I'm not going to lie, you know, so you might not be hearing exactly what you need to quite yet. But again, we've got some kind of a foundation being put in place. Sometimes before that happens, there's a deconstruction or indeed an ending that needs to happen. 10 of Swords in this instance, though, feels quite dramatic, but I mean that in the sense of perhaps somebody's response And maybe even you might find that your emotional response to something is incredibly dramatic, more so than it would normally be, perhaps because emotions are running very high through this month of June, and it might feel very intense. Again, around that eclipse energy with that kind of opposition with Venus and Mars going on. And then, you know, as we have Mercury retrograde, the impact of that misunderstanding around communication, you know, could lead to a situation where you feel perhaps all is lost or all hope has been kind of removed, but actually it's not the case. It's not the case. And again, I invite you to return to that energy of where you can actually see what's coming. We know there's some clouds forming here. You know there's going to be something that you're going to have to deal with. And again, it's about the decision that you can make at this point to say, you know, how do I want to show up to this? Do I want to be the victim? Do I want to be all dramatic about it? Or am I going to try and understand that at the moment on my soul journey, this is about how I return to self, how I work with the gifts that are being illuminated in terms of my awakening and my growth. Does that mean it's easy? No, it doesn't. It's challenging. But what can come from that is a foundation with which to build something new, whether that be in an individual relationship or, you know, how you're working with yourself in your own spiritual practice, or indeed the way that you want your life to go. Yeah? So the card of the Chariot is helping you to overcome these challenges. I really love this energy for you. It could also be a Cancerian that you may well be dealing with. And, you know, what we're seeing here is that this merging of two opposing beliefs, you know. So if you're finding that you're on a very different page from somebody at the moment, you know, you've got very different views about what needs to happen or about your experience of a situation, yeah, what we're seeing is that actually there is a way forward. You know, what's poignant within this particular depiction of the card is that he's kind of holding his hands up, right? He's holding his hands up, one, because he's not going to force the situation, but two, there's also almost like an admission of, okay, in this situation, I can admit where I've perhaps held you to account, or I have held a version of you that, you know, no longer exists or isn't allowing for you to grow. So there's something, I think, coming through here about being really mindful of where you're so locked into a specific expectation over something and towards someone, that if you're not able to loosen that up and give the energy a chance to move and shift, and just in the same way that you are changing and evolving, that you also give that person the opportunity to do the same, it's going to feel more troublesome than it needs to be, right? Now, you may well, out of that decision, decide that something is over, you know, or somebody is announcing that to you. Again, you're also being invited to almost just like release the energy of that situation in order for something to be able to progress to the next level, yeah? Retrograde season is typically not ideal for really wanting to begin new things and sort of, you know, sign on the dotted line. You know, it's almost like a time for review. It's where we want to actually listen, take all of the information, and then spend some time processing it. And, you know, I feel that as we're working with that Gemini air energy in your 5th house, Aquarius, it's about you perhaps taking some of the challenge and the energy that feels harder to process, and then through your expression of, you know, whatever it is that you enjoy, whether it's art, whether it's music, whether it's, you know, some form of exercise, a new hobby, you know, working with your children, playing with them, like whatever that kind of aspect of your life that derives the most passion and pleasure, that's the place that you can then process any of the more difficult energy. That's where you're going to reconcile. That's where you're going to come up with solutions. And I see that you will be the one that is able to step forward and actually present something different to what's been before. And that's the real moment of awakening that I think is going to take place for you this month. You're going to see how you can break a pattern or change something, because we need to end that kind of wound-to-wound energy, right? We want to elevate and move forward and take it to a new level. So you have the King of Cups coming in, another water energy here. It could be Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces that you're dealing with. But also I think that this energy for you is allowing you to go deeper into something. It's helping you also to make meaning of, there's like something about you making meaning of what's unfolding right now, finding meaning in your life perhaps, you know, the discovery of something that all of a sudden is really reflective of where you want to be in the future, how you want to get there, how you want to move through the world over the coming weeks and months. And I see this King of Cups energy as being a really directive guide for you in that way. He can be somebody who, although compassionate and emotionally in tune with situations, doesn't always reveal everything. You know, he's very discerning. He brings wisdom to bear, and he can hold his emotions, so he's not kind of spilling everything out on the table. So I do see that there perhaps may be either a person, or indeed it could be you, Aquarius, that is kind of holding back a little bit with regards to their true feelings, but it's not to say that they don't exist and they're not there. And so to a certain extent, you're having to read between the lines of what is going on with a particular situation, okay? Again, you know, when I look at this, if it is somebody else in your life right now that's depicted by this King of Cups, we see you at the moment looking in opposite directions. We see the duality of the Chariot, the black and white element of this, and it's maybe the vibe that you have going on just now. If that is the case, trying to force or change someone's opinion just isn't going to work for you. There's a new solution, and there's something else that's going to break you out of that kind of deadlock energy. You just need to wait for that to surface. So there's a little bit of patience, I think, that is going to be needed to help you on that instance. Now, as we move into Cancer season, and we've got that real focus around your 6th house, how you want to be of service, and the healing that you're allowing to take place within yourself and how that's changing you. So we have 7 of Cups energy, and there's something about having to take the mask off, your mask, having to be really truthful with yourself about something. Perhaps there's areas of your life that you're still engaged in an energetic exchange over, and it's just not working. It could be a person, it could be something that you're doing that's just really harming you. And particularly I want to emphasize just on the physical level, okay, because sometimes that Ten of Swords can really denote a lot of challenge in and around the back, the neck, the shoulders in terms of pain. So just be really mindful of like taking care of that mind-body connection through this month, Aquarius, not pushing yourself, not forcing anything. But the 7 of Cups is also linking in powerfully again to that water energy. Now we have Neptune moving retrograde on the 23rd, and 7 of Cups is often linked into that very Neptunian energy. So very confusing, very nebulous, very hazy. It can make it very difficult to make sense of things. We feel like we're just getting to grips with something, and all of a sudden all of the pieces move again. You're trying to pin something down and it just feels like it's not quite coming together. But it's also showing you that multiple possibilities exist right now. You may well find yourself feeling a little bit overwhelmed. I do have that kind of a vibe going on in moments through this month. And again, with that eclipse energy that is powering through the month of June, what we can find is that, you know, there's so much that's getting shifted and changing beneath our feet. It's like the quicksand kind of energy sometimes. Now, ultimately, it's helping us to find stability and get onto the right path of where we should be at this moment in time, but sometimes it can feel like we're not really in control of it. And so there is this quality, I think, where you're going to have to surrender in a little bit to how things are set to unfold. But remember, right at the core of your reading here, this Chariot energy is giving you the wherewithal to be able to navigate and overcome any challenge that comes your way and do it successfully. Okay, and within that, there then becomes this beautiful synergy that happens between your spiritual self and your physical self. You're coming into alignment over something this month, Aquarius, and that's going to be really important because I think it's going to help you make a major decision about either a key relationship or an area of your life that you want to see change in. You're looking for change in, because I think what you've realized is that, you know, the passion, the desire, the kind of creative energy, the need for romance in your life, however that comes forth, you know, is needing to be aired, that needs to take more of your time and attention, and you're looking to create more space to invite it in, right? So Page of Cups energy here. There is loving communication, sweet communication that's coming forward to you. But I think there might be a bit of a wait for you to be able to actually receive that. But I think, again, the embodiment for you is just about what do you need to give to the self first. You know, sixth house in Cancer is all about how you're giving that self-love, how you're valuing yourself, your time, you know, you're nourishing yourself, you're feeding yourself the right way, you're taking care of your environment, everything you're lining up to express that energy out to the universe and say, do you know what, this is what I need to thrive, this is what I need to feel good. And if I'm doing it and I'm owning it, and the magic is in the work that I'm actually deploying in these areas, then you have to mirror that back to me in the physical. So therefore, in the relationships in my life, in the work that I'm doing, in the new ideas or initiatives that are being born, in the way people are treating me, they have to come back with that same energy, you know? And that's your sort of determined stance that I see again with that Three of Wands. It's the self-belief, it's knowing what's coming for you is good and going to be of value and going to be positive, and not allowing yourself to move into any kind of victim mentality, and also allowing things to fall away that just aren't going to support that vision that you have for the future. A lot of water energy going on in this reading though, so I do think emotions are going to be running high for some of you in particular situations, yeah. Again, you know, we have the Page of Cups, like outstretching, making an offer towards this Seven of Cups. I think if this is you, you're still uncertain about perhaps someone's intentions or what it is exactly that they're offering. So if this is coming up for you personally or professionally, I think you're needing more clarity. You're like, okay, that sounds good, but I don't really see what's behind it. Show me what's behind the mask. Show me the energy. Show me where you've actually achieved that, or, you know, what action you've taken to actually support that. I think that's what you're needing to hear. Okay. And again, like we said, King of Cups, you can take on the energy of that compassion. You can take on that energy of like listening to what somebody has to say and being open. But you're also not really going to kind of give everything up quite yet. And I think that's going to be important for you to just feel a little bit protected and just have some boundaries in place. Okay. So Page of Wands coming through. Again, could be a fire energy here as well, a Leo, Aries or Sagittarius. But again, I just see this as really linking into that Three of Wands. You know, again, you're kind of embarking on this new pathway, this new journey that's very much about, I know what I want, I know what I'm looking for, I know the kind of support that I need to help get me there. I'm really open to beautiful, positive, powerful new energies coming in. But I know if that has to happen, perhaps these clouds need to clear, which means I need to clear some energy. You know, I need to either clear some old emotional wounds, I need to clear out something physical in my life, or I need to let go of something so that I'm fresh and ready for that burst of energy that's going to come in. There is a lot of messages coming your way. The news that I feel coming towards you is positive, but as I said, I still feel this slight air of confusion from you around it. So it may be that you get an indication of something that's looking favourable, but you're not given all the details yet. You know, there's kind of like a sort of a slight element of like in the creation, the formation, and the kind of drawing things together. We're pulling resources together. We're trying to create the right environment to support this, but this is what our intention is. That's the kind of vibe that I get. So that may well play out for you in regards to relationships, or certainly what's going on from a work perspective for you as well. I think it's important that you are adaptable, that you are open, but that you also stand your ground. That's kind of what I want to say. You know, both the Page and the Three here, they're kind of firmly grounded on the earth here. And I just think that's important with all of this swirling energy that kind of feels a little bit formless, if I'm honest. And so there are times when you may well feel like nothing around me is concrete, nothing around me I can hold on to and really feel a sense of stability and security over. So that's an absolute invitation invitation to go back within, and that's where you're going to find that. It's almost like the foundations, the energetic, emotional foundations that you're building within you this month, Aquarius, are helping then to strengthen the connections that you have elsewhere. The starfish, the kind of shell earrings that she's got going on here, again, this nod into all of the water energy that's going on here. So you may well really be going through some situations that are either involving people who are very emotionally highly strung right now, or perhaps a water sign. But everything that you are doing this month, look upon it as being really the energy of building connection between you and your higher self, between you and the rituals that are going to support and sustain you, between you and the things that you feel passionate and a lot of excitement and desire and purpose around, the things that make you feel whole and able to connect into your own inner child, the things that give colour and meaning to your life. And from that vantage point, from that view, you're going to then start to build some really beautiful, meaningful connections with existing and new people in your life. Okay, let's take a look and see what this astrology oracle card coming in. Okay, your dreams need a practical plan, full moon in Taurus. So I like this nice grounded earthy energy for you. I think that we do have this kind of planning aspect that's coming up with the Three of Wands, Three of Coins here. There is a need to formulate a new strategy, to start to think ahead. You know, at times, I'm not going to lie, that might feel challenging through June because the energies seem to be swirling and moving and shifting and changing so much that it could feel at times difficult to have that centered, grounded, clear thinking energy that you're really seeking. So look upon this energy as a guide and a support to be able to help you do that. But I also think this is what you're looking for from other people as well. So I think if there are and actually I think for some of you there's some really interesting collaborations and job opportunities on the horizon here, perhaps with this King of Cups energy coming through. Could be male or female, but certainly somebody who knows what they are doing and has real reputation, I feel, in their field. But I think what you're looking for is something a bit more concrete. You know, you might have the offers, you might have the opening up, the introductions, the sort of intentions coming forth, but for you to feel a little bit more ready to invest, whether that's emotionally, financially, what you're looking for is something that shows me that you're all in as well. Like I need to feel that healthy, balanced energy exchange. Yeah. But that Taurus bull is showing me that there is commitment there. There's longevity to something here. Now, Taurus is also linked into the energy of Venus. And of course, Venus is retrograde right now in Gemini. It's going to be moving direct on the 25th. So from that point forward, we have a little bit more of an opening up in terms of how you can start to see where things will change, which is really positive. But yeah, definitely going to be impacting on key relationships for you, either romantically or professionally. If you have things coming back from the past, perhaps where something has ended, is there an opportunity for new beginnings here? Yes, there is a way forward, but there's a lot of work to do. That's what I'm going to say. And it's from both parties. So it's like you kind of have to both come forward and hands up and say, right, okay, here's what went right, here's what went wrong. Like, how do we now do it differently moving forward? The capacity to be able to be more tolerant, be more forgiving, be more open is there if it's what you want, you know. But there are also some individuals, some energy who are not really showing their true selves right now. So they might be saying everything that you want to hear, but if they're not backing it up, I'm going to say to you, just be cautionary around, you know, how much you want to absorb and move into that kind of drama and chaos. Because right now I just think you've got so much good stuff going on. Do you really want to step back into that? Yeah. Okay, Aquarius, I hope that's given you some insight for this month of June. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please make sure you do. I'm going to go ahead and pull us some additional clarifying cards now for the extended reading. We will talk for another 20 minutes or so and just pull out some additional messages. So this was a general reading. If you have a specific question that I have not covered, please think about that now, and I'm going to pull us a couple of cards. We'll cover that off in the extended reading. Okay. And just going to go and clarify the main spread for us now. So just beginning with that energy of the Three of Wands. Okay, another Ten of Swords coming in. I think you're turning your back on something or someone, or you feel perhaps somebody has turned their back on you. We'll get into more details of that. Strength card denoting perhaps a sign of Leo, but also just where you've had to be strong or you're needing to be strong to be able to move forward. Okay, Tower energy. I mean, look, you know, with this eclipse season, there's a lot of deconstruction that's having to take place before we can start building something new. Just keep that in mind, you know. And this is also about the huge awakening that you're having with regards to a person or a situation, or yourself through this month of June. Okay, Five of Wands coming up a couple of times there with the Emperor. So a bit of a power play going on there. Okay, card of Temperance here, which is nice. So there is some healing to come into this situation, okay? Could also be a Sagittarius that's involved as well. Talking about family situations, but also your levels of security and financial stability here. Okay. Do you have a feeling that some of you are just feeling like let down by someone or something, you know? Yeah. There's a real emotional wound there that's perhaps been triggered by somebody trying to come back in, or by something that's just unfolded. Queen of Wands here, so whoever this represents, male or female, possibly a fire sign, but somebody that I just think is impacting you. Okay, Chariot and the Three of Wands. Again, you're looking in the opposite direction here, so this is a situation that you're moving away from, okay? Even if it's just that you're moving away from the worst. I think that King of Cups with the Nine of Coins and the Wheel, you know, there is something unexpected coming in. I think interesting offers or communications with somebody who may well be very positive or favourable in terms of taking something forward for you. New connection coming in, I think. Okay, we're getting a lot of cards clarifying one another in your reading this month. So Seven of Cups coming up a couple of times, but also with the Knight of Pentacles here. Okay. Right, let's just pull two more for these oracles. The World, beautiful, ruled by Saturn, retrograde in your sign right now, so that'll be interesting energy. And Eight of Cups. Okay. Aquarius, thanks for joining me. I look forward to continuing this narrative. If you would like to, you can find the link in the description box underneath, or head over to my website, romywyser.com. I wish you beautiful blessings for this month. Thanks for your support. Bye for now.